Call to order the Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, we return for meeting of the Select Board. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, approval of minutes from way back on December 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Committee liaison reports. Have any committee liaison reports? Going once, going twice, gone. All right, new business. A, annual approval of treasurer's disbursement of employee wages and benefits policy. Some housekeeping items here for those in the audience.
Move to approve the policy permitting disbursement of employees' wages and benefits.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. All right, annual approval of treasurer's disbursement of municipal education costs policy.
Move to approve the policy permitting disbursement of municipal education costs.
10 seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. All right, the next one, annual approval of treasurer's disbursement of payments of state fees policy.
Move to approve the policy permitting disbursement of payments of state fees.
Second.
10 seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. We're all set on all our annual approvals of disbursements. Road name request, Cadman Corner, map 13, lot 22.
I'll move to approve new road name for Cadman Corner.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Right. This one's a trickier one here. Settlement and recommitment of fiscal year 24 taxes to Donald Kasperzak. Donald Kasperzak. All right, and this is another bookkeeping correction, whatever, I don't even know what you would call it, where we have to move the settlement from where it was with Bob, over to George Hand, and then on to Don. So it's again just another administrative one.
He's in charge of mine.
Move to approve the settlement of fiscal year 2024 tax commitment from Robert Peabody Jr. and to recommit the same taxes to Georgianne M. Fleck, interim tax collector, and subsequently to Donald Kasperzak, and to authorize the municipal officers to sign all related settlement and recommitment documents.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? 5-0. All right, I think we may be a little before the 5:30 public hearing. So I think we're going to have to come back to that and the action items and move to number 8 on the agenda, business licenses and events requiring board approval. And the first one, surprisingly enough to me, is an application to license games of chance for Players Sports Bar and Grill for a weekly cribbage tournament. Didn't realize that needed approval, but. We could have a motion, maybe?
Which one are we on, Paul?
The
B.
very first one, A, page 2 of the yellow document.
All right, move to approve a games of chance license to play a sports bar and grill for a weekly cribbage tournament to be held on Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. All right. B, Blizzard's Pub, victuals renewal. Motion? Anyone motion?
Move to approve a victular renewal permit to Blizzard Pub, Pleasant Mountain, at 119 Mountain Road.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0.
Can I just read the next in a bundle?
Sure.
Okay, for the victular licenses.
Good call.
Move to approve a victular's renewal permit to Can Family Bakery and Specialty Foods at 320 Portland Road. Move to approve a victular renewal permit to Morning Glory Diner at 78 Portland Road. Move to approve a victular renewal permit to Noble House Inn at 81 Highland Road. Move to approve a victular renewal permit to Subway, 292 Main Street.
Second.
All right, any discussion on any of that? Hearing none, all in favor? 5-0. Must be that time of year, we sort of got our paperwork out of the way now. All these restaurants got theirs out of the way. Yeah, all right. Now we move to the Winter Carnival. And it says a representative.
Yeah, me.
You.
So I'll recuse myself from here and go up there. So again, this is more just like a formality. Every year we do the Winter Carnival down at the beach on at Highland Lake. We're asking permission again to shut down the road, which we've done with Chief. Between Kennard Street and Creamery Street from roughly 10 to 6:30 p.m. for the fireworks and the events during the day. We're going to have pretty much the same events. We have the Freezing for a Reason's going to be there with the polar dip. Campfire Grill's going to be there with the ice bar. Uncle Unca's going to be doing his fishing derby. We'll have a few food vendors down there. I know the Bridgton Lions Club. I'm waiting on a response from one other. One of the things that we talked with Colin Holm over at LEA was we've done that sledding / rail jam hill for the kids to do their snowboarding and all that. That was always done to the right of, if you're looking out at the beach, to the right of the beach, like in the park area where the benches are. But what we've run into is even though the town brings in clean snow, there's always, sand, different things. So we are looking to move that across the street where the road's gonna be shut down. It's not an issue for traffic, but we're gonna make it a sledding hill for kids. We have a company that's gonna donate 15 to 20 sleds for the kids just to go down and have fun, and then when it melts, it's into a dirt parking lot.
So you're gonna put it in the parking lot?
Yeah, so when you're down where the bathhouse is, that's your main parking lot, and then you got that smaller parking area for the boat trailers during the summertime.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in that one right there. With the hill.
Which is kind of non-accessible when you close the road.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And, the sledding will be towards the bathhouse, not obviously towards the street, but the street's closed anyway. But we figure after the event, the road opens up, there's still a big mountain of snow there. We don't wanna have that issue of kids going down there using it when nobody's around. Where the way we have it designed, we'll go right into that area over by the beach, by the parking area that doesn't get used in the winter. And that's it. So we're looking for permission basically I usually get there about 8 in the morning to start setting up the beach area, the road. We don't shut down until about 10 o'clock. And everybody's pretty much out of there by 6:30. Fireworks go off at 6. They're about 20 minutes long.
So what's the date?
February 14th.
Valentine's Day.
Yes, it is. About every 7 years it hits Valentine's Day for us. Because we always do it the first Saturday of school vacation week.
Move to grant permission to the Great Lake Region Chamber of Commerce to use Highland Lake Beach for the 2026 Winter Carnival events.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Dan has recused himself apparently. If it had been contentious, Dan, I think we would have let you vote. All right, and we have public comments on town business. Each speaker may be limited to 3 minutes.
Like,
Hi, Wayne.
I need a second to organize it, and that's gonna stay.
Just formally, if you can give your name and address.
Name and address?
Yeah.
Yep. Just there. Name, Wayne Allen Wheelock, address 7 Willis Park Road, Bridgton, Maine, 04009. That enough?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
I'm trying to address 4 or 5 items that I mentioned on the last meeting. Willis Park Road and 302 intersection, suggestion and opinion of mine, a light proposal for the intersection. There's a pole already there, it just needs an arm, a light, and electricity supplied to the light. Number 2, the 911 call box, has it been repaired? It was inoperable last time I used it. Number 3, number 3 is quite an issue. Whoops, I forgot that. Number 3 is quite an issue. When I was here at the last meeting, did anybody here amongst yourselves find me as disrupting the meeting and at any point? No comment. So when the police officer outside took me outside and took my $3,000 coat without my permission, that would be Detective McLeod, and threatened me with an arrest if I tried to get back in here to listen to the rest of the public meeting. That's a narrative of controlling public speech and the being able to speak. That's an amendment, the First Amendment, the right to speech. Now, when he called me, I'm gonna have to modify this because it's a very vulgar word. When he called me a effing, now that's not meaning funny, that's meaning I-N-G, child. Now that's not a good comment when he's over here overseeing this public event as a police officer in a police uniform. I would think that might be something that you guys might want to address, because you guys are in control of that police activity. Now, the other issue that I can't get my fingers to separate is Chief Jones tells me that I can't have a veteran plate. Now, I am a veteran. I did every bit of the detail at having a DD 214, processed it through the town. I'm the clerk. Had one at one point. Somebody told me from the town, told me I had to bring it back. I couldn't have it. I brought it back knowing that I could have it, but I did what the town wanted to be cooperative. And then when I asked about it just like a week or so ago, and Chief Jones told me I can't have a plate because I didn't serve enough time. This town, the state motor vehicle department, Tina at motor vehicle department, overrode what he was stating. It was incorrect. I can have a veteran plate. I am a veteran. Now that's very disturbing when I am willing to surrender my life for my country, and a lot of my relatives have, and one of them was the longest serving MIA in the history of this nation, 250 years. So those kind of things are very disturbing when you can have a police officer swearing at you and you're a citizen. I wasn't swearing at him, I wasn't using that language. Why is he entitled to use that kind of language to me? I find that really disturbing. And I've had that kind of stuff with his police department and him, Chief Jones, doing different activities that are wrong, and I pointed them out. And I'm getting really tired of this, because if I don't get a correction to this, there's gonna be, when you have, you're given, authority, power, you have responsibility and accountability when you're given great power like that. When they hide behind a badge, that's wrong.
Well, I gave you 6 minutes, which is fine, I appreciate you
I
having.
was just waiting for you to say stop.
I appreciate you having organized the list, and let me try to go quickly, as best I can, through the list you did.
Uh-huh.
The traffic light request, we have had numerous issues and numerous requests with the Maine DOT about lights on 302, and while they all seem simple to us, we have had very little response to our request. We are finally, after I don't know how many years, going to get one at the intersection of Sandy Creek and 302. So while we continue to pursue solutions with the Department of Transportation, the more likely result that we're gonna get at best is that we reduce the speed limit on that section of road. It's not an answer, I know that you're looking to hear, but that's the status.
Yeah.
On the next one, the 911 call box, the town has investigated that and has yet to find any deficiency, any issues with the performance of that. And I have numerous,
I'm listening.
and I have
I'm
numerous,
waiting to see your face with this.
numerous emails and reports from both the emergency dispatch area, from our police department, from people actually going out there and testing it after you voiced your concerns to make sure that it was working.
I'm listening.
And
I want you to face.
we've been unable to find any deficiency in that 911 call box.
When it's beeping in my ear when I'm trying to use the call box that he told me that I could use, then he reverts and tells me that I'm misusing the emergency 911. He's the one that instructed me to use it. And it was inoperable. I know it was inoperable when I was trying it, and they tell me not to touch that box, so I can't go out there and try and test it.
Well, it's not up to you to go and try and test it really, because that.
Right, but you say
really
it's
are
operable,
supposed
you
to
say it's
only-
operable when it's
As a
not.
citizen, you're supposed to use it when there really truly is an emergency. The town officials, emergency dispatch, everyone's tested it, and they can't find a problem. So that's the status of it, Wayne. I know you disagree, but that's the status
Well, I
of your
can't test it,
concern.
so I can't find out if that's true or not.
That's the status of that. What happened in the aftermath of the last meeting, after you left this room, I have no knowledge of, and I'm.
That's why they do it off camera.
And I'm sure the chief would be concerned to hear if his officers were swearing at a citizen unprovoked, and I'm leaving it at that that's the chief's responsibility to deal with that as he sees fit.
I just wanted it brought to attention so that maybe he could address that way of, I'm not speaking to him like that, and he's swearing at me and calling me a effing child. That's derogatory.
Yeah, I would agree that that's derogatory, but again, that's an issue that you brought to our attention, you brought to the chief's attention, and we'll have to deal with that and see what's best to do. The veterans plate, I would have thought that would be the town clerk rather than the police chief, and so maybe Ashley, maybe you can educate me as to the,
He came into the room to enforce it. He says, you're not allowed to. So I was dealing with the clerk, but the clerk brought him out to deal in the clerk with him, and then they're making that kind of comments and reinforcing it with his authority as the police chief. He doesn't have that kind of power. The state does. The state says I can have the plate.
I can say something to
Sure.
that.
Sure.
Technically, by the standards of what we're expected to look at at our office level, he didn't meet the criteria according to our guidelines, but he went through the appropriate channels and got approval from the BMV, so now it's understood that he can get them. But based on just paperwork that we have to check off, the initial review of that document didn't quite meet the criteria, but it sounds like you were able to talk with Tina at the state and get it resolved, so we're good now.
Yeah, because I complained that they wouldn't let me have it with the chief of police is reinforcing the idea.
Yeah, because what we're given for direction is something different than what you were able to do by going through the
But
state.
years ago, you guys gave me the plate, and then you revoked it and brought it back.
Yeah,
I met the criteria then.
we did. That's why it got taken away.
I'll just have to agree to disagree to keep this
But you have
peaceful.
it
but you should be okay, she's saying you're okay now.
Yeah.
Now I am,
Yeah.
because I brought it before DOT, and they enforced it amongst the whole, everybody.
Right.
Everybody made sure of it.
All right, so you'll be good to go and get a veteran's plate, if it hasn't already been issued. I don't know if it already has been issued, but
Yep, all the clerks are aware of it too upstairs, so if he needs it, he's got it.
But
All
I'm
right.
willing to give my life for my country. I think I should get the respect of being able to have the plate.
and indeed you will. All right, does anyone else in the public have any comments on town business?
Prepared some stuff. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Lee Cooper. I'm manager of a limited liability corporation in Bridgton at the East Slopes Condominium Association on Headwall Drive. I am here with documented evidence of a serious breach of public trust. It involves a sitting selectman using his office to bypass building safety oversight and a code enforcement officer failing her duty to the public. The facts are clear and they'll be chronological. First, the initial oversight. On August 28th, CEO Brenda Day inspected my property by written request. She agreed balcony work just completed in the last month was likely deficient and required a permit. Second, the undue influence followed immediately. Right after that inspection, CEO Day's town vehicle was observed at Mr. Hardin's private management office for an extended private meeting. Third, her professional judgment then reversed. Her follow-up emails buried the safety concern she had just stated to me as the need for a permit. Fourth, the conflict is direct. A permit for over $75,000 for work at East Slopes Condo Association that was applied for and signed for by Mr. Hardin, dated September 8th. Okay? I also have a contract for renovations that is also signed by Mr. Hardin as owner, though he holds no title to rear property at the property as a hired property manager. He was the direct applicant to his own town office for a permit. Fifth, Miss Day approved a blatantly illegal permit. On September 15th, 2025, she issued this permit right here. But the structural drawings that she approved and that Mr. Hardin submitted are stamped preliminary, not for construction. Under no circumstances shall this drawing be used to develop shop drawings or fabricate new materials. Issuing a permit on preliminary plans is a fundamental, it's a dangerous failure. It voids the permit. It lacks the required stamp as required by the state of Maine for a licensed engineer. That goes in this box right here. Sixth, a cover-up was issued and triggered the exposure. For months, even Mr. Hardin admitted that a stamp was needed for the engineered documents to be submitted. March 26, 2025. They failed to get them. It was only after I informed CEO Day about this invalid permit on November 13th that Ms. Day retroactively produced a new approval. Right here is where the engineer stamp goes. These documents right here dated November 17th, 2 months after construction had started and more than 50% had commenced under an illegal permit. This is not procedure, this is a cover-up.
What was the date on, I'm sorry, what was the date on that last permit?
Excuse me?
What was the date on that permit? You said November
The
17th?
permit was applied for on September 8th, the permit was issued on September 15th.
Okay, what was the November one? Did you
The
just-
November 13th was an email that I had corresponded with Ms. Day about the permit and that the proper issuance of said permit being not stamped for construction and saying preliminary. So it wasn't until 3 days later that I received those finalized plans with my communication solely with Ms. Day and not with my property manager or anyone else in my condo association. So the appearance alone is a conflict. That's what I'm here about. The conclusions are inescapable. A selectman applied for a permit from his subordinate, and the application was legally flawed. The subordinate approved a flawed permit. The error was only fixed retroactively after a public exposure. This is a textbook case of undue influence, and a power dynamic corrupted the process. Public safety is sacrificed when permits are issued incorrectly and not adhered to by Maine state law. Therefore, I'm asking that you initiate an independent third-party investigation into the conduct of CEO Brenda Day regarding this permit, and likely any and all other approved for Mr. Hardin's benefit. Selectman Mr. Hardin must fully recuse himself from all matters related to code enforcement in this investigation. Given the evidence, his continued service undermines public trust. The board must also publicly commit to strengthening and reviewing their code of ethics, last updated in 2008, available on your website. The people of Bridgton deserve a government where rules are applied impartially and no one is above the law. Your action is not optional. It's required to restore integrity. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Maybe you can just back up for my edification just slightly, and that I'm not familiar with like your property and the relationship to.
Dan Hardin is the property manager for our property, but he's also a selectman. So when he applies for a permit as a standing selectman using his private interest, that creates an appearance of a conflict.
Oh, he is the property manager for the.
For the property here,
for the property.
as well as many in the town of
Right, right,
Bridgton,
right,
which he
right.
may or may have not done similar things for, and may have gone under the guise of what's required by law. I'm aggrieved because I'm a taxpayer in this town. My safety is compromised numerous times. This is not the first issue I've had. This is the first time I've ever had to come to a town meeting to express my displeasure. I have left copies with the clerk. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will just say for the record, I can't respond to any of that because this is in the hands of the attorneys right now because of the harassment that's been going on.
Yeah.
Can I report to that? Because there's an incident report that I filed, and I spoke with Chief Jones several weeks ago about an incident of retaliation from a contractor that left me a note on my door. And then I have evidence of the interaction of his interaction with me, his aggressive tone, which has been documented in subsequent incident report with the town. And if anyone needs any more information on that, I'm happy to provide it.
Thank you. Yeah, and Dan, I would just not say anything about it.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna move back in the agenda to 5:30, and we are gonna open a public hearing for comments on, oral and written comments on a renewal special amusement permit application from Blizzard's Pub at Pleasant Mountain at 119 Mountain Road. So is there anyone who would like to say anything about it, for, against, or neutral?
Just a real quick question. Special amusement permit, what does that entail?
I got this. That's my wheelhouse. Special amusement permits are usually in line with a liquor license. It indicates that you're gonna be having special events, including karaoke, live music, comedy shows, anything that basically you're providing liquor and an event that the public would be able to go to. You have to have both. If you don't have a liquor license and you're running events like what we just talked about, comedy, live music, that we would set that on a one-year term as opposed to expiring with your liquor license, but they typically go hand in hand, liquor license and special amusement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments? And hearing none, I am going to close the public hearing on that issue and look to take action following the public hearing.
Move to approve a special amusement renewal permit to Blizzard's Pub, Pleasant Mountain at 119 Mountain Road.
Second.
All in favor, any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. And we are up to a topic that I don't quite understand. Town road discontinuance for Jim Douglas Road. And hopefully you'll be the one who can explain it all.
Good evening. My name is Paul Skinner. I'm a landowner with frontage on Jim Douglas Road. I own 3 parcels there, map 12, lot 4C, 4D, and lot 5, totaling about 100 acres. I'm here to speak in support of the discontinuance and happy to answer questions that you may have.
Can you, yeah, I had a couple of questions. Can you tell me the difference between a discontinuance and an abandon of a road? Because I understood you wanted the road discontinued rather than the town abandon it. And I don't know technically what that difference is.
Sure, and from what I understand, and I'm not an attorney, of course, discontinuance is formal action taken by the municipality, and abandonment is what it is. You abandon it for, it's either 20 or 30 years. Ceases to be a town road.
What is the disposition of, you're one of the landowners
That's
along
correct.
the road, and
Yeah.
and there's others along there too.
Yeah, we're all supportive of the discontinuance.
What happens to the actual land, right? It's town-owned land, it's a town road.
That's incorrect.
No,
The
okay.
town has an easement over our collective land. So, by Maine law, our title extends to the center of the road, of a way that wherever there's an easement, our title extends to the center. So we own to the center currently. The town has an easement over it.
Because I looked kind of like quickly at the map, right? And so when you say to the center of the road, the road comes in, and there's land on this side of the road, and there's a little strip of land on this side of the road.
That's correct.
So, but that's one lot, right? The lot is on either side of the road, correct?
The tax maps have it drawn that way, but that's incorrect. The state of Maine owns the strip between the Jim Douglas Road and Route 302.
Oh, okay, so by doing this discontinuance, the state of Maine would continue to own that property, is that correct?
They still own whatever is theirs.
Okay.
So we own, when I say we own our title extends to the center of the road, road being loosely defined, it's the right-of-way. The right-of-way is a 4-rod right-of-way that goes through there, dating back to 1833. So our title extends to the center of that 4-rod right-of-way currently. The state of Maine owns from the center, they bought it in 1935, from the center of that right-of-way out to the out to Route 302. So they own all of that. Upon discontinuance, our title is already at the center. It goes from the center because the state of Maine's the abutter to the north. When the road was moved in 1935, our title extends to the north side of the road. That's how it works.
So, again, help me understand. So then those lots would have no road frontage anymore?
Not on the Jim Douglas Road, would own the Jim Douglas Road. Each individually, our titles extend to the north side for each of those lots.
But they'd have no frontage on 302 then?
We define Route 302, so we abut the state of Maine's land, and
Yeah.
that land, per state of Maine
Oh, is
2014 DOT plan, the right-of-way, they extended it down
So that,
to the outer limits of that old Jim Douglas right-of-way.
let me ask a more fundamental question, because this is very unusual for people who live on a road that the town maintains to ask that the town not maintain it anymore. And I'm still trying to understand the rationale for that.
Okay, well, to do that properly, I'd need to refer to this document.
We had a discussion about this road last year when Carl Dietrich had some concerns about whether he was in charge of plowing it or the town, and he wanted to be reimbursed. And does this request stem from that?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the same request.
okay.
Okay, so just for the public's benefit, this is a letter from October 31st, 2023, from Bob Peabody, saying that he was unable to substantiate that the Jim Douglas Road was ever accepted by the town of Bridgton as a town road. Therefore, effective immediately, the town will no longer plow or maintain Jim Douglas Road. So they have not been maintaining your road then?
They have. So this is what started it. So you ask, why would we ever want the road to be privatized? We never did. That started it in 2023. The town manager and the public works director, for reasons, I don't know why, but they did not want to maintain the road moving forward. They didn't think it was a town road. So that caught all of the landowners off guard, obviously. So we didn't know what the status was, what was behind it, what does that mean for the landowners in the middle? At the time, J.K. Douglas, the heirs of Jim Douglas was the primary piece of property. Now I own a portion of that. So that we were all left in the lurch. I still own the property behind it, and so I obviously got involved, and I had great concerns because I have rights and privileges to that road that date back to 1852, and I didn't want to see those lost and have my property be landlocked. So we worked together over the last 2 years and did more due diligence than I ever want to talk about into this, the history of the road, the status of the road, and the state statutes moving forward of what happens during discontinuance. And so throughout all that, we had a turnover in the town manager, so we had to wait for the new one to get on board, and then we gave him a couple, 3 months to get, ramped up before we approached them about something like this. It's not being super priority for the town, totally understand. And then, as I had been working with the public works director, he said, give him a couple months and come see me, and I came to see him, and he had, resigned the day before, and then he wasn't interested in working on the project. So here we are. It's been a long roller coaster journey, about over 2 years, and a lot of time and money and abstractors, lawyers, and surveyors to figure out that road.
Are there any, environmental issues there? Like, is there any culverts or any
No.
kind of thing that
No
if
culverts,
it's
no
not
bridges.
maintained, that?
No.
So it appears in order to do this appropriately, it has to go to town meeting as a legislative action.
Make a motion to do it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said make a motion to do so.
Well,
Need a motion to do so.
I have no problem directing the town manager to continue in this process.
because there is a process.
Yeah.
And Dawn's aware of it, so we can handle it in-house to move forward.
You probably need a formal motion to that effect, I would say.
Not yet,
Not yet.
no, because we'll bring back the request for a public hearing, and then also, which would include putting it on the warrant for discontinuance.
Okay, so the public hearing has to be held before we even move forward.
Yes.
And then it's gonna go to the state. So you know you're in for you're still in for a little ways to go timing wise, because the state, I guess,
Well, the state has no involvement. The state statutes dictate what the town has to do, and it's clearly defined and actually provide a guide to the municipalities to follow. It's a very
Correct.
straightforward
Yep.
process.
and you're not, just my final question, you nor any of the other people on the road are asking for any damages related to this, is that correct?
We're not asking for or waiving, it's not our choice. The landowners, as I understand it, don't have any say in the matter. It's part of the process. The process has stipulations as you go through the process, and the town assesses it according to the stipulations in the statutes. So we're not asking for any, but, you know, we're not saying we wouldn't accept any. But the answer to your question is, we're not asking for any.
All right, I feel better educated. Does anyone have any other questions? All right,
Yeah.
so we will direct the town manager to move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item B. Is there a need to establish a short-term rental ordinance ad hoc committee? We had voted at a previous meeting to bring forward to the voters in November a short-term rental ordinance for them to vote on. And now the question is, in order to keep it, and again, we went through a semi-long review a couple times in a joint workshop, and prior to that, the planning board had spent a large amount of time talking not only to us, but to various other people from realtors to people who own short-term rental properties, to different towns, and came up with some pretty detailed suggestions, particularly looking at other towns' ordinance, of how could we keep this as simple and unobtrusive as possible. And that's what we are, is determining what is the best way to proceed in crafting an actual simple ordinance. Comment?
I was the one that came up with that. But to be honest with you, I don't believe that a committee is necessary. We seem to be committee-minded
Thank God.
in the past few years. We have enough committees to keep us very busy. Actually, this ordinance is quite simple. I think that it does not rise to the planning board level. It does not involve the land use ordinance or building standards. I believe that this could be written by town staff. The planning board did an excellent job coming up with materials, and just the discussion about it was very clear and very good. But I just really don't think this rises to the planning board level. They happen to have, I think, 6 projects that they're working through various stages. They are very busy, and I see no reason why town staff, now that we have a community development director with direction from the select board, I see no reason why town staff can't put this together for us.
Good. I think that all sounds very reasonable. I have no interest in forming another committee. Bob?
At this time, I don't think we should give this to the town staff or the CDD director. I think we should plain and simply shelf anything to deal with short-term rentals. I don't think we need to make any ordinances or recommend any ordinances. I think we should keep our nose the heck out of this business. And until something comes about by either the state government or even at this point in time, I know the federal government's looking at it. I think we should just wait and see what happens and just put this on the shelf and mind our own business at this point in time.
Duly noted, and again, we voted 4-1, with you being the one opposed to putting this on the November ballot, so that ship has already sailed. As we have said, we are going to put it on the ballot. So the real question here is to get one done as quickly, and I think the staff, it's so far along and there's so much work done in it, I think the staff would certainly be able to write something up quickly, and if they needed to consult with a planning board member or the CEO or whoever, then I think that this is a very doable task, and I would like to see it assigned to them and have something that the select board can look at for the first meeting in April to review, to put on the warrant. That, I'm not even sure we need to vote on that as much as get a consensus or what, but.
What did you vote on?
I'm sorry, what?
What did you vote on at the last meeting? I voted against.
I think it's in the minutes, I can kind of read it. Well,
F.
on F, which is a long, I will eliminate the first 500 words of the write-up and go to the last sentence. A motion was made by Chair Turag that the Select Board recommend a short-term rental ordinance be brought to the voters at the November 2016 election. The motion was seconded by Member Councilman Ross, 4 approve, one opposed, McHatton.
And what are you proposing tonight, that you
Now we just,
eliminate what you voted on?
No.
We discussed having a committee,
That's right.
and the town manager drafted a short-term rental ordinance ad hoc committee in anticipation that we would go down that route. And now we're saying we don't feel we need a committee, that this could be done in-house by staff.
Yep.
so maybe, I'll make a motion that it be done in-house by staff and to make sure it doesn't drag on forever, that something be that it be presented to the select board for their final review, the first meeting in April.
I'll
Dan
second.
seconds. Any further discussion?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, never mind.
All right. And we'll take a vote. All in favor? 4, all opposed, 1. All right.
All who seconded that? Yeah, thank
I
you.
did.
Thank you.
All right. Select board comments. Carrie will start as always with
Okay,
you.
I'll start.
One day we'll reverse the order, I swear.
Well, one day I won't be sitting in this chair, so who knows, but, couple of things. First of all, I would encourage everyone to check out Ken Burns' new documentary on the Revolutionary War on PBS. It is perfect for children to watch. I would recommend families watch it. I wish people would watch it in school, whatever it takes. We're coming up to our 250th birthday of this constitutional republic, and it's always important to be reminded what a wonderful country we live in and how hard people fought to make it so. I would also like to respectfully acknowledge the very untimely passing of Whit LeJour, a long-term basketball coach and instructor at Bridgton Academy, who was a huge giant of a man in this town, and I am just sending my deepest condolences to his wife, Mary Beth, his son, Jack, his colleagues and friends. It's a real loss. If you knew Whit personally, if you read his great column weekly in the Bridgton News, he was just a wonderful, intelligent, kind man who touched a lot of people, including me.
Oh my gosh, I did not know he had passed away.
It's very, very sad. He just passed away last week.
Oh,
And,
Age of 66.
66 years old. Lived life to the fullest every day, and life is short, so let's all, love one another.
they named the court after him.
They did.
That was
At least
beautiful.
they had that ceremony before, while he was still with us, which
Yeah.
is, frequently it comes after someone's passed, so it's, wow, I had no idea.
Very sad. Okay, that's what I have.
The only comment I have is just kudos to our public works guys. I'm kind of in the same boat as them when it comes to plowing and sanding, and his last 3 weeks has been absolutely brutal with the hours. They're coming in at 10 o'clock at night, going home at 3:30 in the morning, coming back in at 6:30, and just want to commend them for doing a great job keeping the roads and sidewalks as best as we can in these conditions.
Well said. I have one comment for you, Mr. Chairman. And that is, at our last meeting, I said I wouldn't bring up the opening of the landfill on Sunday until budget time. I'd just like to point out to you that that was last year. That's all I have to say.
Oh, is it budget time already?
Seems like it's budget time year-round.
Oh. Anything else?
No, I said that was it.
That was okay.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Comment?
I would once again like to remind people who are putting up temporary signs, you cannot put them on the monuments in the town of Bridgton. We took down 2 that were on the monument on Main Hill. They're at the Public Works Department if people want to pick them up. We're also supposed to put some identification on the sign so that we know who put them out there. If people put up temporary signs, they need to look at our sign ordinance. They cannot be put on the monuments, any monument in Bridgton. They will be taken down, and they will end up at Public Works. That's it.
I had 3 things. One was just added because of what Carrie said. If you want a more amusing look at a very small slice of American history, and you have Netflix, Death by Lightning, which is a bizarre name, is a 4-part series on the assassination of James Garfield, which is, and I looked it up after the fact, is actually very historically accurate, although embellished because it is a fictional telling, but very, very interesting slice of life in this country back back in that time frame. So, death by lightning. Terrible name, but since he was obviously assassinated and did not die by lightning. I had two other more serious things people have asked me about, and I have spoken at least about one of these to Brenda, but I just want to make sure people understand that I'm trying to address the concerns of trees and shrubs being taken down in Shorey Park by private contractors related to the Hotel Bridgton on the Shorey Park side of the brook. And while it was okayed by the CEO, it seemed, I have to say, odd to me and odd to the other people who asked me questions about it. But there it is. I wanted to make sure I brought that up, and maybe we could have, when the town manager returns, some further discussion of that. Also related to that, to the Hotel Bridgton is, and I can't be sure, let me make sure I read this correctly. There was let me see if I can find it. There was a permit issued on November 18th to Saunders Mill LLC for a $100,000 project to build operations space in the basement of the hotel, which, again, there's a question as to whether that space and what the nature of it is and whether it was in the original plan. So I just wanted to mention both those items in public so people will know I am responding to their concerns, and that we, again, when Don returns, we can probably have a more formal discussion of that and what it means. That's it. Awards and other administrative recommendations, don't see any. Town manager, deputy town manager's report.
Thank you. So in the town clerk's office, foreclosure notices for outstanding 2023 tax liens have been sent. These liens are scheduled to mature at the end of this month. If payment is not received prior to maturity, the town will take ownership of the affected properties. If anyone believes their property may be impacted, please contact the clerk's office as soon as possible so we can review the account and discuss next steps. Bridgton Recreation basketball season is officially in full swing, and it has been wonderful to see our gyms so busy and full of energy. This season we have 16 teams of athletes participating across our basketball programs, along with a group of high school students taking part in our junior officials program, which continues to be a great leadership opportunity for our older youth. Our teams include 3 teams in the K through 2 grade program, 4 teams in 3 through 4th grade division, 3 teams in the 5th through 6th grade division, 2 teams in the 6th through 8th grade club basketball division, and 4 teams in the Lake Region combined travel division. While our travel level teams began play in late fall, games for grades 3 through 8th kicked off last week. And our 1st through 2nd grade players will enjoy their first games this Saturday. Across all levels, athletes are having a fantastic time, getting plenty of playing time on the courts, building skills, and enjoying being part of a team. We are incredibly grateful for the support of the 22 dedicated youth coaches whose time and commitment make these programs possible, as well as for our continued use of the MSAD 61 Stevensbrook and Lake Region Middle School gymnasiums. We're also keeping a close eye on the ice rink. The liner is down, and we're very thankful to the Bridgton Fire Department for coming out early last week to help fill it. Now we're waiting on Mother Nature. While the recent spring-like weather has been pleasant, it hasn't been ideal for freezing conditions, so we're crossing our fingers for colder temperatures in the days ahead and hoping to get the rink open as soon as conditions allow. From the Bridgton Code Enforcement for the month of December, building permits, 6 new residential, 4 remodel, 5 tree removal, 4 miscellaneous, 2 roof mount solar arrays, plumbing permits, 2 internal plumbing, and 4 septic. Total projects cost $2,872,000. Total permit cost $6,853. Public Works, sand is available for Bridgton residents to assist with icy conditions. The Town of Bridgton winter sand area is located at the Public Works Garage, 31 Willett Road. Residents are welcome to collect 2 5-gallon buckets of sand in preparation or response to storms or weather permits that create icy and slippery conditions for their personal residence. There is a flyer that has been done up, which has been posted on our website. I have posted it on our bulletin boards, and there's also some handouts that you can grab when you go out. Want to make a note while I'm talking about this, please note that residents are not permitted to access any sand or salt sheds on the back lots. The filling of pickup trucks, SUVs, or other vehicles are not permitted. Use of residential winter sand by commercial businesses, contractors, or non-residents is strictly prohibited. And if you have any questions, you can call the Bridgton Public Works Department. And until next time, be safe and be well.
I would just like to add, I don't think it's necessarily a consensus of the board that we're crossing our fingers for colder temperatures. Treasurer's warrants.
Move to approve treasurer's warrants 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, and 56.
Second.
All in favor? 5-0. All right, dates for the next meeting, January 27th, 2026. And I'm wishing you an early one, Carrie, because I will not be at that meeting.
Thank you. In the spirit of my ongoing public service, I will be here for my birthday select board meeting. I do not need cake or anything else, and I will miss you, Paul. I mean, if you're offering, of course, but.
And which date was that, Paul?
That was the 27th.
Thank you.
I will be prepping for my birthday on the 28th by flying down on the 27th to Puerto Rico, so.
Have some fun for me.
And then the meeting after that is February 10th. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
I don't make any preparation for my birthday, which is in August.
It just show up, don't they? When you don't prepare, it's there, it just shows up.
Well, I hope that I show up.
All right, adjourned.